Hi everyone, Andrew here with our latest forecast on Pollenizer hull split across the state. But before we get into it, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel to ensure you never miss an update in our Managing Navel Orangeworm series. Welcome to the fourth video in our Managing Navel Orangeworm series. Today I'll be talking about Pollenizer hull split and predicting the third flight of Navel Orangeworm. So let's jump into things. For a variety of reasons, 2023 has continued to be an unusual year weather-wise. But importantly, the cool and wet spring across the Central Valley delayed both bloom and hull split. We saw a nonpareil hull split push back 1 to 3 weeks, so it should be no surprise that pollenizer hull split is delayed as well. This year, hull split for most pollenizer varieties is expected to occur mid to late August. For example, south of Fresno, we are expecting Monterey hull split the week of August 21st, while around the Modesto and Merced areas, we expect Monterey hull split the week of August 28th. And finally, in the north of the valley, Monterey should be splitting late August into early September. So Monterey is a common and late splitting variety, but keep in mind other varieties will split at different times. In this example, we can see 4 pollenizer varieties, wood colony splitting the earliest and Monterey the latest. As always, the best way to find out how this affects your farm is to view the hull split tab on the Semios platform and make sure to enter your observed bloom dates and add all of your pollenizer varieties. Now let's turn our attention to Navel Orangeworm and some of the factors that should be considered when predicting the third flight. Hull split is the most important time of year for Navel Orangeworm management, as it's the first time that new crop nuts become susceptible to Navel Orangeworm damage. Nonpareil almonds have already split, and as we just discussed, pollenizer varieties are expected to split soon. As we know, there are a number of complex interactions between Navel Orangeworm, crop phenology, and management practices. But we believe having a good understanding of these interactions can benefit the planning and evaluation of your pest management program. So because this is a complex system, let's work through this visually. Here is data from a farm located in Merced County. This graph depicts mean Navel Orangeworm trap captures over time using nut meal baited traps. Note, on the bottom axis, we have date and Navel Orangeworm degree days. This happens to be the same example I used in our last video. Last time we checked in, we had trap capture data until about mid-June. But now we have trap capture data extending until early August. Let's annotate this graph a bit further. The area in blue designates the long-term degree day forecasts, and here are the predicted hull split dates. In this example, we have nonpareil and 4 pollenizer varieties: wood colony, butte, Carmel, and finally Monterey. In order to predict when the third flight should occur, we have to carefully look at the second flight and examine the pattern of Navel Orangeworm trap captures around nonpareil hull split. The second Navel Orangeworm flight can occur both before and after Navel Orangeworm hull split. We will be referring to this as the pre-hull split cohort and the post-hull split cohort. At this farm, both are present, which makes this a great example to work through, but be aware at some farms may have only one. First, let's talk about the pre-hull split cohort. The most important thing to remember about this cohort is that they reproduce on mummy nuts, which may be a limiting resource. In other words, the risk posed by this cohort is going to be related to orchard sanitation. If there are a lot of mummy nuts available, this cohort should be more successful and contribute more to the third flight compared to farms where sanitation is good and few mummy nuts are available. This cohort should take approximately 1100 degree days to complete their development. In this example, we believe the second flight started around July 2nd at approximately 1150 degree days. Well, then we expect the next flight to occur 1100 degree days later, putting the third flight around August 19th, just in time for pollenizer hull split. Now let's change our attention to the post-hull split cohort. This cohort begins at hull split and should not be resource limited, as there are lots of new crop nuts available. Therefore, we expect the success of this cohort to be influenced more so by mating disruption and pesticide applications compared to orchard sanitation. Importantly, this cohort will be strongly influenced by hull split and bracket sprays, and all of the factors that affect pesticide applications, such as timing, coverage, active ingredient, and application method. The post-hull split cohort takes approximately 700 degree days to complete development. In this example, the post-hull split cohort starts around July 16th, and 700 degree days later is sometime during the week of August 13th. Again, just in time for pollenizer hull split. Putting this all together, we reveal an interesting pattern. The predicted third flight produced from the pre- and post-hull split cohorts overlap to a large extent. And this is an important concept to remember when examining your trap capture data and trying to understand those patterns. For example, suppose we achieve great control in the post-hull split cohort with pesticides, and they don't contribute to the third flight. Well, that's great, but depending on the availability of mummy nuts, you could still get a third flight that had originated from the pre-hull split cohort. Ultimately, the occurrence and composition of the third navel orangeworm flight will vary across the state and between farms. However, we believe carefully considering both the pre- and post-hull split cohorts is a valuable approach to planning and evaluating your navel orangeworm management program. As always, the best way to figure out how this affects your farm is to look at your navel orangeworm trap capture data on the Semios platform. Thanks again for tuning in, and don't forget to check out our blog in the link below and subscribe for our next update.